before we begin tonight, guys, just want to be on a serious note, and behalf of myself, all my siblings here for What Grinds Our Gears, we want to say at least thank you to everyone that's been supporting us throughout all these different seasons going on right now. We appreciate your faces. If you're newcomers, if you've been with us for a long time, we really do appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
And as we begin, we will now go into not our newer intro that we've been doing throughout the entire season, but our very first one that I've made creatively, just like a symbol of the times to transition to a brand new tomorrow.
Ain't nobody used to give a damn. Yeah, I had to go and make a different plan. Yeah, guess who didn't get included? Even though you made me better, yo, I strictly do it for the fam.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to What Grinds Our Gears, the podcast ran by family, owned by family, done stuff with by family, and owned by lawyers.
Yes.
That is the saddest thing I've ever said.
Do we have to make another apology list for that?
No, Britt, we've already been over this, okay? We don't have to apologize ever again, alright?
No apology needed.
I was not feeling it.
Okay. Now, I know you guys are probably just like, hey, V, where's everybody? Where's Hobbs? Where's Sally? Where's Streets and Phoenix? Where guys, hold up.
And why have they been replaced by such a lovely voice?
Well, we'll get to the lovely voice in a minute, but I gotta point out to you guys that one, Hubs is in the middle of having a husband-wife night with his significant other that they haven't had all week long. I'm not gonna interrupt
Nice.
that.
Gross. Nice.
Shreves is playing doctor to Phoenix, who's very ill at the moment, and he has to wake up early in the morning for work.
Gross.
And tragedy struck on Sally's end, so she cannot be here this week for you guys, as this is our penultimate season finale episode that we're recording for you guys before I reveal to you all the actual season finale next week.
Nice.
As such, you all know me, it's V. Then you also have my big sister over here. She's been on a tear killing things and adopted a new little cat boy, girl thing that tried to save the world with a giant light bulb sun that looked like Apollo's testicle. Give it up for Brittopia's very own Britt.
Woo! Hello, everyone.
And coming back in from an episode you guys are going to be seeing very soon, wink wink nudge nudge, is our little sister just came back from vacation. I heard from somebody that she also is in the international finals for the Quidditch World Cup series while also doing some stuff for the Avengers, but we'll never know.
No, we'll never know.
Of our little sister of Jasmine.
Hello, everyone.
And today, for the penultimate episode of Season 2 of What Grinds Our Gears, is Merfolk to close out our Monster Month.
Nice.
Now, does anyone know where the history of Merfolk began? Or does everyone just know the old sea legends?
I think I know the sea legends.
Yeah, I think I'm with Brett. I think I mainly know the sea legends.
Well, to predate sailors and to predate a lot of stuff, from an old journal I read from my grandfather, actually sea creatures have been a main staple since Zoroastrianism, Mesopotamia religions, and from the Babylonian era of the tarot cards.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Where the original water beast, or merfolk, was an older creature that was known as the giver of aquatics. I have no idea what that means, nor how that translates, but he's part of an older type of creation myth that's tied into the 30 birds of the universe's own elements, from all the way from plasma/lightning all the way down to the smallest stuff of nature. I'll be probably going over that in my storytelling channel, which I will not tell you guys about at all. And since then, it's just been sort of a wiped out history thing because it was apparently a record in the Great Library of Alexandria. But we all know that that library is long since gone by now. So, the only way to then go into the Merfolk lore.
I like Merfolk too.
Merfolk lore is from sea tales, which are from krakens, mermaids from the British side and the Russian side, the Polish side, and maybe the Guatemalan side if you are so inclined. And from the women of the lakes, which are from medieval eras and also from Japan.
Everyone likes fish girls.
And since then, Merfolk has just been taken off by storm. But has anyone ever gone over like their first ever Merfolk person that got them into the interest level to begin with? But to start off that discussion, we'll go over things with our little sister Jasmine. Jazz, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. I think the first mermaid thing I watched was like H2O, which is like this really good trash show about mermaids. But it's like a lot of things about mermaids have changed now because they've kind of stayed away from the mermaids equals bad. But they also haven't, because like Pirates of the Caribbean 4 came around at that time as well. And I remember being really angry because I was like, they don't know the difference between a siren and a mermaid. But yeah, I think H2O was like my first mermaid like dive.
But
exactly. And that was on a purpose.
Perfect. It was perfect.
Britt, your
What
turn.
about you, Britt?
My first introduction to mermaids, I think, actually probably was atypical. The Little Mermaid with Ariel.
Oh yeah.
And that, like, I know a lot of facts, or maybe not, I guess, facts, but definitely some knowledge of mermaids, not because of just that the Little Mermaid movie, but probably because there was a lot of mermaid movies and TV shows that came out. There's one in particular, I just can't remember the name of it. It was like a teenage boy that ended up being a mermaid instead.
Lucky 13.
Yeah, that one.
Oh.
That one was...
No, 13th
Aquamarine?
year. The 13th year.
Oh, was it? It's one of the two, but yeah, it was about a boy turning into a mermaid, and it seems like it's not common to tell of a boy turning into a mermaid or a merboy even happening kind of thing. It's always been about like the females.
That's
Yeah.
because of the boobs.
You can't
Yes,
deny
Dave.
boobs, so
It's because of the boobs. Oh, I also forgot The Little Mermaid 2. That was a lot of inspiration with mermaids for me. Because I was like, all mermaids are like Melody. Yeah?
Oh. Well, I guess I gotta take the floor with the old man talk again. Where's the
Go ahead.
mic?
Do it.
Here's the mic. Okay. For me, guys, it all started like everything in my life, thanks to my grandparents. Where I was with my grandma and she was telling me about the legend of Selkies.
Oh, I love Selkies.
Seal women. They're literally women that wear the pelts or like the skins of like not dead but their own skin of being a seal that they can take off and become beautiful women. But they
Nice.
can never stay on dry land for long.
oh, there's an animated movie called Song of the Sea, I think, that
I know.
talks about that was so sad.
Because
I
if
know,
they
but it's pretty.
Oh,
because if they don't have their skins to go back to the sea, they die.
yeah.
Jesus
It's such a good movie. I recommend everyone to watch it.
And when I heard that, I was like, that sounds depressing, Grandma. And then she's like, I know. You want to read Hans Christensen's The Little Mermaid?
No.
No, it's like,
Oh
well, that's
man,
a little less
the
depressing,
book? Yeah,
but sure.
that one. That's a different story compared to what Disney did.
Going off onto a side note, I bought the Hans Christian Andersen The Little Mermaid and other fairy tales, but what I didn't realise was it's made for children, so it's a pop-up book.
Oh wow!
So I felt like a real adult on the train, opening up my pop-up book and going, yes, this is The Little Mermaid.
That's awesome.
It was a good buy. It was a good buy.
I bet it was. But there's been a lot of stuff with merfolk besides mermaids. There are stuff of the Bermudas, the Leviathans, and the Tridents classifications of merfolk, where it's just like they're more sea-like, but they have like human characteristics, which are kind of like the Leviathans. They could be half human, half fish, like the Tridents, or they could just be monstrosities of whatever godly horrors that you want for Bermudas. Or maybe that's flipped around for Bermudas and Leviathans. It's kind of depending on who you ask as a writer. So, you got your Cthulhus, which are like Lovecraftian merfolk now, even though it came from a goat that's also a worm. Lovecraft was weird. You have the Kraken. You have, technically, Gorgons are also merfolk, technically, because they have aquatic, like... It's weird. They come originally from being aquatic in certain myths before they become snake women.
Okay.
Interesting.
But they also have an aquatic backstory in a few myths. They also have sirens who were originally bird women but then became fish women because Greek people can't make up their minds.
Oh no, they can't. That's why they were all bisexual.
You have the drowning women of the Russian mermaids that actually lure you in as small children, and as soon as you're dragged into it, they hold your body down to drown you to death. You have ladies of the lake from Filipino and Japanese mythology that actually lure you to your death by doing a sob story to bring you to the shore and then kill you.
Oh, I forgot about that.
There are so many things with merfolk that I could go over with an entire history book with you guys, but we haven't a lot of time that I don't feel like you have 5 days to go over with.
I have to sleep eventually, me.
Right.
But
oh man,
I will say that it has been a very influential thing because it gave us a lot of different tropes what we now know in the writing game, such as like the femme fatale kind of comes from sexualized women, sort of like merfolk. Because without mermaids or even like sirens or selkies or female Dullahans or certain Gorgons that we all know were cursed because they got molested in Athena's temple.
Jesus.
We wouldn't really have the femme fatale trope just like, hey big boy, you want to come to my place for a hot drink? Oh boy, what a scoop! I'll be up there in a couple of jiffy. Oh boy, I'm gonna get myself a ready drink. And why do you have a gun in my face?
Yeah, that's basically how mermaids are in all like the stories and stuff, you know?
Yeah. I think mermaids also influence people to go swimming more, because I definitely remember as a kid, I'd be like, let's play mermaids in the pool. And like it made people go, oh, I'm more connected to the sea, especially as like a young girl, because I was like, there's mermaids out there, and maybe one day I will find them.
It definitely gave a lot of people imagination to then do a lot more with it.
Yeah.
Which is where we then go into the common thing that we do on these podcasts, which is the modernization of these creations. Unlike mummies from last week, which still makes me salty as hell, merfolk have really blown up and never stopped.
Yeah.
Like
I'd
literally,
agree with that.
name at least 5 years where you've gone at least a minute without seeing him in a video game, a book, a TV show, mentioned in some kind of weird comic strip. Someone said that they claim to be a mermaid sexually. Something involving merfolk has popped up in the last 5 years that has never stopped.
1997 to 2002, because then I would have been 0 to 5 and wouldn't remember it.
That's a great answer.
I mean, 97, we did have some like mermaid stuff floating around.
I didn't remember
When
it.
did the Little Mermaid come out? Too old for my understanding, but
Britt, you're older than I am.
no, don't tell anyone that. Why would you say that out loud?
Because you're my big sister?
Oh, everyone knows the secret now.
I know, like
For shame!
I didn't say what your age was. All I said was you're older than me.
I've now revealed my age. Damn it. I mean, if someone can do quick maths, but other than that, you didn't hear it.
I mean, probably got blurred out for any real reason.
Britt's
Editor
age.
5. But yes, modernization of Merfolk. If you guys were to flip over the pages from where Merfolk came from, like we just told you guys right now, to today, they're more like the protagonists than what they actually were.
It seems like when they first came out, like mermaids was this new creation. But like when mermaids first were like written about, it was like the fear of men, of women, and the sea. But now it's like embrace the sea, embrace the feminism. That's how I see mermaids.
I mean, for myself, it's kind of like... Oh, I'm sorry, Britt, you go first.
No problem. Sorry. Mermaids to me, it seems like it really is like what you were saying earlier, very femme fatale. About how it depends on... I feel like it depends on which media you're looking at, because cartoons, they'll make them happy, basically. You know, like, we're just curious people. And we're friendly, and we don't like humans, because I'm actually remembering a scene from one of the kid shows, Sophia the First. My daughter was so into that show. They had
my future niece loves that show too.
There was this, I think it's a movie actually, where they meet Ariel, and the Sophia, the little girl, she becomes a mermaid herself too. But when you meet all the people in that show, there's like, there's obviously like the bully one, and I'm the princess, and like there's a whole different assortment of merfolk, and they basically make them all like hate humans, and you can kind of see that in what's it called, like live action movies and stuff, like Pirates of the Caribbean, like you were saying, like they either make them really nice or really mean. So I guess it really depends on what media you're like being influenced by mermaids,
Yeah.
True, because J.K. Rowling made them just ugly monstrosities that wanted to kill everybody in the Triwizard Tournament.
She said she said, I think in an interview, she made them less like human. She made them more like fish, so like very protective and stuff.
Like either Leviathan or Bermuda class of... No, Leviathan would mean that they're giant, so they'd be Bermuda class. That chart lied to me.
But I think J.K. Rowling did something that was quite different for the time, because a lot of people were very much into the mindset of happy mermaids, like because of Aquamarine and like H2O and all these like mermaid books that were coming out. So she kind of went, no, these were mermaids were originally, so let's bring it back to that.
Oh yeah. It feels like there's a constant reminder of like, oh, let's make them friendly, and then no, they're not friendly. We got to remind everyone.
Yeah.
Like, and then there's Legend of Zelda, where they're just like, let's make them fish people that are just very, very secluded because the humans are dicks.
Yeah.
Like Princess Ruto being the most powerful water user, and she's only in love with Link because she's his fiance in one timeline. Because she wanted that hero of time D really badly.
Oh yeah.
All I can remember from that is the Game Grumps playing it, and they're just like, they get like the guy looks in time to the statue when he finds out that she was in love with Zelda, and Link, oh my god, I'm a fake fan. Fake fan. It'd be more interesting if she was in love with Zelda, just saying.
I mean, there might be some fan fiction floating around the internet for that.
If I Google it, it's gonna come true, so...
Don't break your PC already. That's already bad news. Oh, man.
But I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's been popping up over the last several years, because we also remember... Like, I don't know if a lot of people remember the original Clash of the Titans, where it was, like, all stop motion animation stuff with Kantos, the sea beast that they said release the Kraken for.
I feel like I should know, but I don't.
But a lot of people remember the remake where they made him just like a giant tentacle monstrosity to make Perseus a bigger badass than he ever was, to save Andromeda, who never loved him in the remake movie or in the myth, because people hate having a good protagonist that actually can do stuff with realistic monsters for some reason.
Goddamn movie makers.
I'm still mad that they made Medusa just basically hopped up on speed, just like... guys, she's a snake woman that's sad that she has to petrify people. It's not that hard to mirror in real life.
No.
Like a
I
socially
wouldn't
awkward
think so.
person that just got freshly molested when they were a young child, just trying to get help. That's how you write Medusa.
Well, I put in Mermaids 2018, and mostly it's the Siren series, so they're going back to their creepy roots, and also the Little Mermaid with the guy from Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh yeah, they did do that.
I saw it out on DVD in HMV, which is a British DVD shop, and I was like, huh, they did it then. They finally did it.
Not to mention they finally came out with a good indie mermaid game called Aquaria.
Ooh, I haven't seen that.
It's basically this one mermaid lady wakes up after all of her people just disappear. She meets this nice diver boy. You eventually get to merge with the boy to become either a half breed of both kinds combined together, or a mysterious being of a fusion of the two in a nice synchronization that makes him like a mer god or something.
Cool.
Like fusion, like are we talking like plus 18 fusion, or like
Like
we have
Steven
to shake
Universe type
hands?
fusion.
Oh, okay. I was gonna lead to that one too, but I don't know. I felt like I would have been more excited if it was the plus 18 version.
No, they haven't made
I was
that
like,
type
how
of
would
game
that work
just
though?
yet.
Is she
Just
fish
yet.
bottom? Oh man. You know, I feel like that's a perspective that not a lot of people think about when it comes to mermaids too. When you the whole, you know, top part woman or man or whatever, and then fishtail. Why can't it ever be backwards in a way? Everyone makes the joke of it, but no one ever actually tries it, you know?
Is
it just not appealing, you know?
The reason behind it, though, Britt, is because they've already done it technically with what I've said of the Bermuda class, which is mostly just fish anatomy with a humanoid body. Like the guy from The Shape of Water, that's a Bermuda class merfolk.
I guess that makes sense.
Or like the guy from Hellboy.
Oh yeah, Adam Clay, I think his name is.
Yeah, those
That was a
two
good
are
thing.
Bermuda that are basically more fish than human. And that's where the whole thing of the joke of like, what about the top half being fish and the bottom half being human? Because as The Shape of Water clarified, that poor mute woman was able to see his penis just eject from a compartment that he hid inside of his fleshy form.
Damn.
He has
Sounds
a
so
spring,
appealing when you put it that way.
He has a spring action penis, just like.
That was my favourite part of the film, because I was in a film with like tons and tons of old people who were like, yes, let's go see this Oscar-nominated film. And I was like, yeah, they mentioned fish dick.
I mean, they also
You
showed
like
like
fish sticks?
fierce masturbation in one scene where I'm like, oh god!
I know, right?
Ladies, stop going to town on yourself with the egg beater just feet away from you. We get it. You have a need that's craving, but I don't need to see you just like...
The sound effects.
They were good sound effects.
I mean,
Best.
it's just like a big...
Only here on Grind Our Gears.
But we've covered the Trident, the Bermuda. Let's focus on Leviathan, which is like the huge monstrous ones.
So like what? Ursula?
Ursula could technically be a Leviathan class, but also a Trident class. Also a Bermuda. She's like a fusion of the three, because she's
That woman can
human-like,
get big.
but she's also an octopi, but more octopi than fish, man, woman thing, but can also grow giants. It's complicated.
Ursula is complicated. Like,
Well, she
she
only grew
destroys
giants.
one life for a kingdom.
Actually,
Yeah.
she did it because she's the sister of Trident from an old draft.
Yeah, but like, why Ariel? Why not just be like, literally get all the other merfolk, like the village, then you have no one. And like, slowly.
Because
The
Disney.
long con.
The long con, exactly.
Because Disney.
Because Disney, yes.
That's the only
And
reason I
also,
got. Because Disney.
Ariel really wanted to go up to the surface, and Ursula's a nice gal on occasion.
there are so many theories too that there were like, the movie's flawed because she could have easily just read the contract and the movie would have never happened. Like she didn't have to sign that contract of like, oh, lose your voice, I'll give you legs. But
literally, so many people argue though that she's like, oh, but she was like really like she was yelled at to do it, and I was like, yeah, that's it.
No, she wasn't. She was just like, well, I could literally listen to my dad and stay home, but I really, really want to meet this guy and get this thing that they say is a clam between your legs.
What a word. All right.
Hey.
Yeah, that works. The puns.
You know what really grinds my gears, though?
What?
Primark and their obsession with mermaids. Now, I don't know if you have Primark in the USA.
I don't think so.
It's like a massive clothing store.
Oh, I remember buying clothes from them.
Yes.
They hate me.
Yes, they hate a lot of people.
Do you
They
have a
basically-
awesome.
They churn out clothing like every few months, and they're obsessed with mermaids. Now, this clothing store is meant from people from literally age 10 to like age 25, let's just say, and they've got a range of designs. But somewhere in marketing, they went, hey, you know what everybody likes when they're like over 20? Mermaids. We're just gonna plaster mermaids everywhere. And as someone who go, mermaids are cool, I don't want a mermaid on every single top I own. So it becomes very annoying because it goes, oh, me with my mermaid clan. Like, what? Why would I need that? With my mermaid tier water bottle. Why would you need that? Why are you getting tears from mermaids as well? That's so harsh.
Mermaid
And like,
tears.
all the 10-year-olds love it, and they'll keep buying it. So Primark keeps making it, and then they've also got an obsession with unicorns as well. Like my voice is even breaking talking about it.
I never understood the fascination with unicorns. I mean, kinda.
They're
I
horses
guess,
that stab
but
people.
well,
Horses, that's
technically they can do that, but no, it's well, as far as I know, they're a symbol of rebirth, the same as phoenixes, And it's
Technically,
like,
that's a misconception.
like I don't know, like they
But
make.
technically, that's a
There's so many
misconception,
different
though, Britt. I'm
tales
sorry.
that tell of it,
Yeah.
But that's a misconception that can literally clear up because a lot of people, they don't go through all the whole lore behind the real history of mythology creatures. Which is why I'm like, this is why I feel bad for going through my grandpa's journal to be like, what the hell does all this stuff mean? And then just go through all his other journals from my great times 93 great-grandparents. Which are that unicorns aren't the symbol of rebirth, they're the symbol of... It's kind of hard to say without spoiling a lot of stuff in the story I'm going to tell about them, but... Basically, they're sort of like your last symbol for when you reach the final stage of your life.
Cool.
So not death, but definitely like...
They're like the last arc of your life, because there's originally this old legend from back during the age of Alexandria, where there was this one king that said that he went out every day when he was in his elderly form, just literally walking out. This is when you could live to be almost 900 years old, by the way. Where he was 853 years old, he's walking out on his balcony, and every morning he saw a one-horned horse. And every morning it would just stare into his eyes and show him his history from when he was a babe all the way to where he is today.
Why would you do that every morning?
And he'd walk out there every morning looking for the horse, until one day, on the eve of his next birthday, he doesn't see the horse, but he sees a woman standing in a cloaked garb. He goes down to his garden, talks to the lady in the garb, but when he looks into her eyes, he only sees pitch black darkness, and the next thing he knows, he's gone.
Oh.
Interesting.
She killed him.
I like that story.
Oh no, that's actually death.
Don't let Stephen King hear you say that.
Oh, damn it. I'm gonna look out my window. If I see a unicorn, I'll let you know.
But that's where the whole thing of them came into play, but then because Alexandria burned down with the Great Library and Babylon is no longer around. Nobody knows a lot of stuff. They're just like, oh, it's a symbol of rebirth because they're magical.
And it's like virginity as well, isn't it?
It is.
There we go.
Well, I guess, if you look at it in I don't know what kind of perspective it would be exactly, but technically, I mean, if a unicorn does appear and shows what, like, basically gives you, like, flashbacks of your entire life, right?
Yeah.
Like, in a way, depending on that person, they could be like, oh shit, I did all this? Like, wow, maybe I should change my things. That could be what maybe they mean by rebirth instead of, like, oh, I die and then come back kind of thing, like a phoenix does.
That's cool. I like that.
Like, that's kind of how I can understand that perspective of rebirth, but to understand that a unicorn is actually basically like the Grim Reaper before the Grim Reaper, that's actually, I think, more interesting to find out about. So, you learn something new every day.
I'm telling you guys, I've read a lot of stuff from my grandparents before they passed away about a lot of different things about the life, things about religion no one really talks about, but I'm not going to tell anyone on podcast. I'll just tell you guys because we're family.
Yeah, you don't get that content. Cry about it in the comments. Come at us.
I've literally gone
Join
over...
the Patreon.
I've literally gone over all that sort of stuff where at this point I'm like, there are so many things humanity has forgotten about, but because I've read so much of it, if I were to die tomorrow knowing all this knowledge, I wouldn't be that mad.
They do say ignorance is bliss.
But we gotta get back to the mermaids and the other merfolk. Leviathans. There are so many big giant fish people, but they're not a lot mentioned. Firstly, there is the Kraken, aka the devilfish. Even though it's just a giant fucking squid.
Yeah. In Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, it's still a squid, or an octopus at least.
I related to them. They just want to destroy ships.
They're just like, well, there are ships in my area.
And they killed Johnny Depp, so...
That's because Johnny Depp was evading death. He needed to face his fears and die with dignity.
Can't relate.
And then Kingdom Hearts 3 happened where all of a sudden his death meant nothing and he came back anyway.
Relate.
You know that's just fan fiction in video game form. Just leave it alone.
Yep.
It's perfect.
But aside from the Kraken and from Katos, the giant fish monster of Greek mythology that no one ever mentions because he's technically related to one of the Titans that no one ever talks about, who also was there to stop the giants that no one ever talks about.
It's like there's a whole world we don't know about.
Oh no, people know about it, they just don't want to talk about it. Like, apparently no one wants to say the myth about how what's Saturn's name in Greek? Kronos cut his dad's dick off to save his mom Gaia.
Damn.
And the dick became the sea foam that gave birth to Aphrodite, making her a titan instead of a god.
Huh.
What? I don't know, I've heard it differently, I guess. Like, or no, how did it even work?
I don't know, Britt.
I don't
know how castration of a god works.
Well, see, like, I remember how they told the story about, like, the birth of, I think, was it Zeus?
No,
Cronus
Zeus comes from Kronos. Kronos came from Uranus and Gaia. Uranus is the sky, and Gaia is Earth, obviously. And then Kronos was just like, Mom, I'm tired of Dad treating you like shit. I'm gonna take care of it. She's like, okay, well, here's your birthday gift. A scythe. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I remember that story where they were like, but
it's like
that
mom
in middle school. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's like that dad. I think it's the dad who gives the crossbow to Kevin, and we need to talk about Kevin. He done effed up.
But anyway, now on to Britt.
Shoot. See, I remember in middle school when they taught us mythology, they told us that Kronos and whoever his poor wife was or whatever,
Rhea.
he was like, he was like, I need a child worth having or some shit like that. And I guess she only produced females. He wanted a son.
No, he
and
made
it never
3 sons.
3 sons, was it?
Kronos, his first child
Oh yeah,
was
that's
Hades.
right. That's how it went.
His middle son was Poseidon, and his baby child was Zeus. I hate Zeus with a burning passion, but we'll get to that in the mythology podcast.
That actually, I totally forgot about the other ones and the other gods. But yeah, I remember he. So Kronos was like, "Hey, I want to be the only one. No male, no females, or anything like that kind of thing." And every time that she gave birth, he would eat the babies, and then she was like done with it. She was like, "Okay, no more. You're not eating my children." So instead of giving birth to another child, she fed him a stone, and he ate that. And I guess it made him give a stomach ache or something.
Yes,
and then he puked out.
There's a reason behind he ate the kids, though. It's because since he had to usurp his own father and imprison his own mother, which starts a gigantium war between the giants and the gods. He was like, oh shit, if I have a child, like I have a prophecy of my son usurping me, I could die! I need to eat all my kids. Is this a boy?
Yeah.
Is this a boy? Is this a boy? Is this a boy? Is this a boy? That last one tastes like stone. You're just drunk. Several years later, hi, who the hell are you? I'm your son! No, I ate all my children. Oh, my stomach! Oh, you son of a... Wait, why is there a stone? Wait, did we have a stone baby? No, we didn't have fucking Sun Wukong. We're not Chinese.
We're not sorry, Greek.
Why would I be sorry? I love mythology.
Oh, I do too, but I feel like, I don't know, we need to find someone who's from Greece or something.
We
and
need
then,
a Greece sibling. We need
we need more foreign siblings, guys. So subscribe today.
If you're Greece, if you are the whole country of Greece,
and you have someone that is like a missing sibling of ours, send them our way.
Right? They tell us like what their mythology what the actual mythology they tell over there is. You know, I feel like America or whatever, like really. I wouldn't really say dumbs it down, but they definitely like cut out a lot of really interesting information. It's almost like it's like growing up with the children's story, like the Disney version of all the mythologies, and then you find out, oh look, there's the Grimm brothers version, and it's like, whoa, mind blown, you know?
I mean,
that's how I feel.
I mean, Britt, the only benefit is I grew up with foreign families all the time. Literally, I never had a normal childhood, as we discussed.
Right.
So I know all the shit I need to know to make myself an impressive enough director, writer, artist, if I were to actually apply myself, which I'm trying to now. But, with that being the case, yes, Kronos did all that stuff. One of his brothers was in charge of the sea before his nephew Poseidon took over, and his most notable beast was Kantos. See, guys, I can bring the topic back to this. We're not always off topic. It always has a reason for being in existence.
Exactly.
And Kantos... Yes?
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. And Kantos was the main beast used to feast on young virgin females from Andromeda's village before Perseus, one of Greece's best-known heroes, swooped in with the head of Medusa, froze the beast, got himself a wife in the deal, went back to his hometown to save his mom from getting married to a national dickhead.
Damn.
And no one mentions Kantos ever again because they're just like, what's his importance in mythology?
Zero.
Gee, I don't fucking know, maybe because he was bested by Greece's best hero since Bellerophon!
Oh.
I was a little salty today.
We couldn't tell at all.
No, it totally, you know.
And then,
we just thought it was normal.
And then it's just a matter of everyone just wants to make their own Leviathan monsters, like kaijus everywhere. Like the sea monster, aka Ebby from the Godzilla movies, is a notable fact.
Oh.
Godzilla himself counts as a Leviathan since he is a reptile that mostly submerges himself in the sea, even though it makes no goddamn sense.
Poor Godzilla.
But no one really makes a lot of Leviathans because they're hard to make. Oh, and Gamera.
It's like, what story can you tell with a massive, massive creature? And most of them go for the horror aspect. Or the big friend who ends up dying at the end of the film. The Iron Giant. It still hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Carry on.
It'll always hurt.
I think it's on Netflix right now.
It is.
You know what else is on Netflix?
H2O?
The Mummy trilogy.
Wait, seriously?
Oh god, really?
For me in the UK.
It's a fulfilling prophecy. We get to have our mummies back.
So, for those of you who don't know, the original Mummy, the 1999 version, is like one of my favourite films of all time. So as soon as I saw it on Netflix, I was like, right, save it, watch all of them.
I need to do that too. Last time I watched The Mummy was when I was like 7 and 8 years old, and I was scared of that.
And the worst one is the third one, because it makes no sense.
Shush, 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 shush. There's more Jonathan in that one, so I love it just as much
I mean,
as the
I
other.
love Jonathan too, but it's like, where the hell is the plot going?
Nowhere.
Wait, plot, come back here. Plot, explain yourself.
But I still haven't seen the Tom Cruise one.
Don't.
I will one day,
Don't.
but
Trust me,
not-
don't.
not now.
Don't.
I have to. I have to put myself through it for the franchise.
Well, anyway, since we couldn't find any other big Leviathans without also going to Lovecraft of Cthulhu, even though it's more like an eldritch god than an actual Leviathan. Here's the weird thing about Cthulhu, though. Well, him and Charybdis. Charybdis is just a giant mouth in the water, so that's barely ever a Leviathan creature for Merfolk mythology. Other than it just eats ships and spits them out, while Scylla just sits on its rock, eating people with its hair. So it's basically like an anime over there.
I like Cthulhu games though, like the games where they're like, oh, you're a detective and you have to figure out a mystery, and look, Cthulhu, or you're a therapist and there's a girl who thinks there's something in the sea. Oh, Cthulhu. I like those games.
The confusing thing with Cthulhu is he's never really awake. Like, let me explain this to you guys that didn't watch the Lovecraft podcast. Cthulhu awake causes mass madness. If you do not have a strong constitution or have a warped sense of reality already in your mentality regions to see beyond the realms of humanity, you will end up going so far insane you will literally die or become his puppet, whichever one.
Is this university though? Is this university though?
Possibly. But still, yes. To embark on an adventure with Cthulhu, if he were to wake him, would mean the end of humanity of like 95% of the known populace, no matter what you do.
What happens to the other 5%?
The other 5% would just be like the people that would be trying to kill a god.
Cool.
That would be like if someone were to wake up as a Thoth, and then as soon as he wakes up, we all end up dead anyway. He's like if Thanos actually did his fucking job and erased all of existence.
Damn it, Thanos.
You just need to wake up the one-eyed idiot god and then we all die according to Lovecraft.
There's gonna be someone who, like, reads this and is like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna find him and I'm gonna kill all of humanity. And what a story that would be.
I mean, if he did, that'd be one hell of a franchise ender, because I have a feeling a lot of people had their money riding on humanity for a long time investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Yeah, that's the confusing thing with making Cthulhu a Leviathan class, because it's a god amongst monsters. How does one compare a god to monsters?
Hey, it's like that film that no one talks about, God and Monsters. That was a film, right?
I think that was a TV show.
I'm not really sure.
I am searching it up now.
Fact checking.
A 1998 British-American period drama film that recounts the partly fictionalized last days of the film of the life of film director James Whale.
Oh, that had nothing to do with gods or monsters at all.
No, it didn't. Oh, it's got Brendan Fraser in it.
Oh,
wow.
yay. I miss Brendan
I
Fraser.
think- Oh, and Ian McKellen as well.
Ian!
Old.
But yes, Leviathan class is the hardest one to do anything for, unlike Tridents or Bermudas, because no one can do a good giant monster story correctly, or a giant fish monster story correctly for that matter.
You know what's really interesting is that I think a lot of people don't actually consider Leviathans and all the big ones considered as merfolk. Because I feel like when people mention merfolk, they're like, oh yeah, the half human, half fish people. But they don't even. Yeah, they definitely don't even think of. They don't think of the big ones or the ones that actually are more anamorphic or whatever. I think that's what bothers me about like merfolk tales when people talk about it. They're like, oh, I would like to be a mermaid, and it's like, which one? You want to be the big ol' thing that looks like a whale, or do you want you don't want to be like the cool one that looks like from Hellboy? And they're like, oh no, I want half a tail. And I was like, then how did you know that you're gonna have like a long stream of poop because you have a fish tail? Then like that's how you're gonna poop from now on. I don't know. Just like that's what it seems so weird to me for merfolk when people say they want to be a mermaid or identify as a mermaid. I'm not even sure how you could do that, but I know there's someone out there who does.
I mean, just need the tail and then to live constantly in water, but that must be a really hard life.
I would feel like it's a lonely life.
How do you get the
Maybe
money?
that's why they're so mean.
And then you just gotta literally shit out your babies whenever you actually procreate.
Right? And you wouldn't even actually have intercourse. You would you would shoot out eggs, and then you have the male fertilize the eggs, which is
like he just
almost
apparently sprays his
I don't know how you would want to look at it that way,
Like fish sex is weird, guys. You gotta understand that for if you're trying to be a trident, you gotta either spray your fertilizer stuff into the egg sacs to then make the babies, and then as soon as you decompose or whatever, or if one of you dies, the male has to then transition into a female for certain fish classes to then procreate with the male children that are born from your offspring.
Somewhere there's a 10-year-old heart that you are breaking.
That's at least what you learn from at least clownfish, which means from Finding Nemo, Nemo's gonna be fucking his dad.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that thingamabobber there.
There's gonna be a 10-year-old. We're gonna call her Martha, and she's gonna go, "Mummy, I was watching a bit of the YouTube, and these people they told me that I would have to shit out in a long stream and be able to have intercourse. I don't understand, Mother. I just wanted to be a mermaid, Mother."
I'm gonna find this picture right now. I know. That's how I found out that, yeah, it'd suck to be a mermaid because then you'd poop out a long stream, and you'd be swimming in it, and it's like that. Why? It's like why did you ruin my childhood this way?
While Britt does that, I'm going to search up Primark the Mermaid Collection and read a few of the things I found on their tops.
And while those two do that, I'm going to start off this discussion with you guys at home, which is what grinds our gears most about things, which is how the modernization of merfolk, although has been a giant, tremendous step forward, has also been kind of a mark for everything to be drawn back into how it should be. Like everything involving vampires, werewolves, invisible people, immortal individuals, people that can rebirth themselves however they want to. Everything has a downslope with what it does. So what would you guys at least say is a downfall, which comes to all the upsides that come with the merfolk of the modern era?
Right, V, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So they have clam purses, they have mermaid tail blankets, they have aerial merch, they have a onesie with a mermaid clam bra, and then it's kind of like white and it has a little crown on the top. They have a bath mat, they have mermaid brushes, which is basically fishtail brushes. They have things that have mermazing on them. They have bags that just say it all. I am a mermaid. And then they have mermaids have more fun. Mermaids.
What?
Sounds like definitely a media thing, you know?
Yeah,
Is it
they also have
positive?
a brand. Mermaid Glow. Don't ask why. Don't ask why.
I'm not going to. I'm just going to try and forget I ever heard that. Well, yeah, I'm leaving the question up to you guys first. Like, what do you think is the downfall that comes from the modernization of merfolk?
I feel like it takes away from the actual mythology history that it is. A lot of I feel like they try to make it where they don't even say how they even became what they are, or like why does a mermaid exist? You know, it's more of like, oh, they're just magical people who swim and la di di da, and then of course the other story is like, no, fuck that, we gotta show that they're vicious. Dang it, like, gonna kill people, because we hate them.
And it's
for
like,
no
how
apparent
were
reason.
you born?
Yeah, like,
what do you mean?
I feel like
yeah, how are you
definitely
born,
takes
man?
away.
I think the thing I don't like is that the media constantly go for the same story. Like what Britt was saying, was either they hate humans or they want to be where the humans are, and it's never that we get to explore the mermaid world because they're constantly trying to get out, and they're like, look, other creatures love our world because it's beautiful. And I was like, other creatures would be sad and would be probably very angry about oil spills if they came to our world. They wouldn't be celebrating it.
I'm not laughing at what Jasmine just said. Britt just finally showed us the photo, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Wait,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh god, why? And I was like, no, this makes total sense. It's like fish really do poop this way. Why? It's like I definitely, what I don't like about the whole like mermaids now is yeah, they definitely take away what like the mythology of it really is, you know? I feel like if everyone knew more about the the merfolk mythology, kind of like where, like what exactly was going on, then they wouldn't be all like, oh, maybe I don't want to be a mermaid, or more of like, oh, there's maybe other stuff that I could find out. It just kind of blocks out all like what you can learn, I feel. I don't know. I'm all about learning stuff.
And we wouldn't have shitty puns like mermazing.
Yeah. Get rid of the puns. They're almost as bad as dad jokes.
Almost.
Hey, I'm a dad and I do jokes.
Boo.
Boo. 2 thumbs down.
I only said I'm a dad and I do jokes. I didn't say I did dad jokes.
That was a dad joke right there, though.
I found another great
Damn.
illustration.
But as for myself, I don't know. I agree with you guys about how they don't really delve into much of the history about what makes any of the merfolk aside from mermaids. But also, I feel like they just focus too much on the trident aspect about the merfolk, about the half man, half fish, but never about all the other types of the Bermuda class and the Leviathan class, because it's more marketable rather than just it tells a better story. Because anyone can do a story about a pretty person. Anyone can do it. It's literally not that hard. Be like, this pretty person had a pretty life, and they were all so sad because they couldn't find the prettiest person to be with them. Until one day, they looked out over the shore and saw the most beautiful person they could ever find. But unfortunately, it was a beautiful mermaid. And also, did I mention she had breasts the size of watermelons? Because that's important too.
Who actually wants boobs the size of watermelons? That must hurt their back so much.
But anyone can do a story like that with a Trident class merfolk. But it's apparently too hard to do one with Bermuda or Leviathan unless you're doing a Legend of Zelda game. Or you're...
Love Legend of Zelda.
Or
Zelda's
you're
like
Guillermo
the
del
best
Toro.
hero ever.
But I find it a big step backwards because anyone that does the easy route is kind of not even a real writer in my eyes. Because doing the easy route isn't storytelling.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of writers say, we're gonna do evil mermaids which want to kill people, and then they don't call them sirens, they call them mermaids. And yes, they are the same species, but it's like they're not really the same species, they're like a subspecies. But either way, it's like a lot of people just go, we'll stick mermaids on it because everybody knows what a mermaid is.
But no one ever wants to do something original with what they can do with merfolk, because there are a lot of fish in the sea, people. You can literally do anything. Japan does that with anime all the time. Look at One Piece and all the weird fishmen that they've made. Jinbei is a big example. He's a fucking tiger fish man.
I never watched One Piece.
Like, they literally have fishmen pirates.
Oh yeah, they do have like fish people, fish folk.
That moment of silence was for me, who never watched One Piece. So rest in peace,
It's
so long.
It's a huge anime. It's worth catching up on when it's finally done. But for right now, just be like, I'm gonna wait till it all ends so I can read everything and watch everything at my own pace.
It's people on a ship, as far as I'm aware, and there's one guy who is really flexible.
He's made out of rubber because he ate the Gumu Gumu
There we
gummy,
go.
aka the Gum Gum fruit in English. But regardless of all that sort of stuff, guys, that's what grinds my gears most about the merfolk of today, where not enough story, not enough versatility, not enough individuality stuff. Variety is the spice of life, and we're squandering it a lot with everything that we do in every aspect, and we need to change that.
Agreed. Hear, hear.
Which is why also, guys, since this is going to be our penultimate season finale episode, like I promised you guys in the last podcast, big announcement is that we are, or at least I am, after I talked to Hubs and Sally and everybody else in the family, we're going to be setting up our own Discord for Season 3, where if you guys have any suggestions for that you want us to do in the next season, because we have a whole blackboard list of topics that we still have to cover anyway, you guys can list your own suggestions in our Discord, and we'll be able to read them over, give you guys shout-outs, all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a bigger season of events going on for everything that we're going to be doing from this point forward.
Comment down below to say what you like while we wait for the Discord to happen. We appreciate that.
It's going to take a few weeks, to be honest. It's going to probably be like until like the 4th or 5th episode of Season 3, if I'm being honest. In the meantime, though, all this stuff about merfolk makes me wish I made that one show based off this one entry in this mythology journal that I read from my grandpa a long time ago involving the birth of the first merfolk.
Huh.
Where it's kind of like a weird legend where it's involving Poseidon, a priestess from not a Greek village, but actually from this one island from the continent of Mu, and a very, very odd fisherman.
That sounds like a good story.
Yeah.
Like, before Poseidon was known as, like, the big sea god, he was just known as a king of the sea, not to be confused with Aquaman. And then he met this one priestess from the continent of Mu before it sank to the bottom of the ocean to be God knows where, probably with Atlantis for all we can tell. And he himself was just praying to one of the original aquatic gods before that there were a giant religion of them from Zoroastrianism and whatnot. where he prayed unto them to find a beautiful maiden. He found a diplomat's daughter who was supposed to be having the beauty that rivaled 1,000,000 stars.
Mm.
As such, when he finally met her, they found a relationship together. They started up everything in the span of, from what the notes told me, about 2.5 weeks before a lustful fisherman came and saw the woman himself. I'm not going to say what he did to the lady because I don't want to trigger myself with what happened, since I am a victim of circumstance of the same category. But I will say that afterwards she was basically feeling like she could never be held or touched by another man again, where she then went to the sea to then take her own life, but because she was what the man prayed for, she was granted new life in the very sea that he held dominion over.
Huh.
She had a fish-like body, not a tail, but literally like having fish-like skin, having the webbed hands and feet, being able to have her own beauty, but never being treated as a victim by anyone ever again.
Ah, that's cool.
It
And
was
sad.
It was something interesting that I read. I got 1,000 of them.
Oh man.
You know, guys, this kind of makes me feel bad because I feel like I forgot one thing that the people wanted at home.
What do they want, V?
I think it was